Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here is one of the most disgusting fruit in the world. I love all fruit, but I don't love to eat all fruit. And the Noni, has been called numerous times the smelliest fruit in the world, and I'm sure it's one of the main contestants. Well, if a fruit is so smelly, why is it being cultivated everywhere in the tropics and subtropics, and why is there such a hype around it? Well, it seems that it helps against some types of cancer. I say it seems because it's not 100% confirmed, but there are still lots of medicine and food supplements and especially juices from this fruit. So medicine is supposed to be disgusting and people take this a lot. I made a video about the Noni. I tried the fruit which was grown in a greenhouse in Germany, and the fruit were perfectly well developed but quite smaller than those ones. And when I traveled through Southeast Asia, I realized the fruit are smelly, but not that smelly. Basically, the smelly fruit are mostly the rotting fruit on the ground. But when I was in the Caribbean, you could smell those trees from dozens of meters away. And here, I'm walking among dozens of rotten fruit, and I can smell some rotten taste. I can smell some rotten taste. Well, but it's by far not as strong as in the Caribbean, so I wonder if they have some more mild version here. Also, in this video I would like to try Noni of different ages. Look at that. Here you have a very young fruit, which is basically a flower, consisting of flowers and buds and a small body. Here, another one of about the same age. Then, here you have some where there are already a lot of pollinated fruit. The Noni is basically not a fruit, but a whole inflorescence. The lower ones are pollinated, the upper ones are already flowering. Here you have some pretty green one, some which is already starting to ripen, some which looks quite ripe but still hard. And then you have the rotting ones on the ground. Well, folks, let's see how many of those fruit I'll manage to try before I puke. Let's start with the totally green one. By the way, the red paint on my fingers is not from the Noni, but from the lipstick fruit behind me. So the Noni fruit is basically quite pale and translucent. Let's try this one, which is not completely green, but kind of started to ripen. The lower part usually ripens much faster. First, let's try the completely green part. Tastes like some unripened, maybe toxic fruit. A little bit sour, a little bit bitter. Nothing too spectacular. Like a dry, unripe plum. Well, unripe plums are a little bit juicy. If you imagine them not being juicy, that's what it would taste like. They're slightly more riper. There might even be a trace of sweetness. But still like a dry, slightly sour fruit. Nothing spectacular, no smell at all. Now let's try the ripest one I can find on the tree. Guess this would be that small fruit here. This is the most ripe one I could find on the tree. Already has changed its color to cream like white or very pale yellowish. Considerably softer. A bit sour, a trace of bitterness. No sweetness, and maybe a tiny little bit. No, the smell comes from the ground, not from this fruit. And here you can see the seeds. They already seem to be well developed. And now comes the smelly part. Because they turn from inconspicuous to disgusting very quickly. Somebody gave me one of those fruit as a present in Tenerife. I carried it around for 3 days. I even had it without any wrapping in my backpack. A very risky undertaking. Why don't you focus? A very risky undertaking. Fortunately, I took it out after 3 days because after 3 days in the morning, I took it out of the backpack and it was perfectly hard and not smelly. In the afternoon, I came back to my room and my room was smelling horribly like rotten cheese. And the fruit was soft and I had to throw it away. So they turned from a hard and inconspicuous and absolutely not smelly fruit you can put in your backpack with all your clothes. In several hours, they turned into this monstrosity. It looks like a giant white maggot. And it feels like a giant white maggot. And it smells like rotten cheese. You take one of those really fatty cheeses they like in Italy or especially in Spain, like a queso curado, a really ripe cheese. And when you leave this too long outside of the fridge and in the heat, the smell intensifies to something like this. Yeah. It turns rancid, just like this fruit. This fruit turns rancid. I guess it's quite a fatty fruit and the fat turns rancid, or maybe there's some other process. Now let's try this maggot with this soft maggoty skin. It looks like a maggot, it feels like a maggot, and it smells like rotten cheese. The taste is exactly like rotten cheese, like rancid, hard, high fat content Spanish cheese. But the consistency is soft like a maggot. There's also a stinging, prickling sensation on my tongue. Exactly like rotten cheese. And yeah, now the stinging sensation, this burning is going down my throat. It is basically the consistency of soft cheese, but it smells like rancid, very hard cheese. Yeah, those southern cheeses with a lot of sheep and goat's milk in there. Yeah, disgusting. I mean, I made myself to eat durian a couple years ago and now I love durian. I guess if I forced myself to eat this a couple of times, I might develop a taste for it. I guess if I had cancer and had to eat medicine or drink juices from this, I could get used to it, but it would take a lot to get used to it. There is some nice fruitiness in there, but a lot of sourness / saltiness. A little bit of this stinging, burning sensation. The smell of rancid cheese. The taste and smell are exactly like rancid, hard goat / sheep cheese. Yeah. But the consistency is like soft cheese or a soft fruit. Really disgusting, but as I said, if I had to take it because I was a cancer patient, I would be able to get used to it. Would take me a bit of time, but I think I would even be able to kind of enjoy it a little bit. So folks, this was the Noni in different stages of ripeness and rotting. Not gonna try the really rotten ones, sorry for that folks. I'm trying a lot of stuff, but not everything. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful island of Borneo, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.